You remember when He-Man lifted his sword and explained what Christmas meant to aliens who had never heard of it. You were sitting on the floor in front of the television surrounded by the action figures you begged your parents to buy. And suddenly, the muscular hero you loved for fighting Skeletor was talking about peace and kindness and understanding. It felt wrong. He-Man was supposed to punch things. She-Ra was supposed to fight the Horde. But instead they were singing songs and teaching tolerance. Your parents looked confused. This was a commercial pretending to have a soul. And it almost worked. Before we dive into video, please subscribe to our channel. We grew up with He-Man and She-Ra as the ultimate toy commercials disguised as entertainment. Every episode existed to sell action figures and playsets. The plots were thin, the animation was cheap, but we did not care because we loved the characters and the fantasy worlds and the transformation sequences that made us feel powerful. But the 1985 Christmas special was different. It tried to be something more than just a product. It tried to teach real lessons about religion and culture and accepting people who are different from you, and it did this while still being a blatant commercial for Mattel toys. The result was one of the strangest and most fascinating holiday specials ever made, but what you never knew is that this special was created in absolute chaos. Mattel and Filmation were at war. The writers were fighting with executives, religious groups were threatening boycotts, and the people making it had no idea if it would even air. The story behind this special is more dramatic than anything He-Man ever faced. He-Man and She-Ra, a Christmas special, aired in syndication in December of 1985. It was a 1-hour special that brought together characters from both He-Man and the Masters of the Universe and She-Ra, Princess of Power. The plot involved two Earth children crash landing on Eternia and teaching the heroes about Christmas while everyone fought to get them home. The special was watched by millions of children. It sold millions of toys. And it somehow became a genuine piece of holiday nostalgia despite being created by a corporation whose only goal was profit. It featured messages about religious tolerance that were shockingly progressive for 1985. Here are 20 weird and disturbing facts about He-Man and She-Ra, a Christmas special that you probably never knew. These are stories about corporate greed and censorship battles and voice actors who hated what they were doing. And the last fact will reveal the true meaning of the ending that nobody saw coming. Fact 1. It was created specifically to sell more toys for Christmas. This special had no artistic purpose. It was commissioned by Mattel as a way to boost toy sales during the 1985 holiday season. Every character that appeared was an action figure you could buy. Every vehicle was a toy in stores. The entire plot was reverse-engineered from a product catalog. Mattel gave Filmation a list of toys they wanted featured and told them to write a story around it. The writers had no creative freedom. They were corporate employees building a commercial and pretending it was entertainment. Fact 2. Filmation was on the verge of bankruptcy by 1985. Filmation Studios was in serious financial trouble. They had lost several major contracts. Their animation quality was declining. They were desperate for work and Mattel knew it. Mattel used that desperation to negotiate terrible terms. Filmation was paid almost nothing to produce the special. Artists worked long hours for poverty wages. The studio was being bled dry by corporations that did not care if they survived. This special was made by people who were fighting to keep their jobs. Fact 3. The writers fought to include a lesson about religious tolerance. The original script from Mattel was just about rescuing Earth children and fighting bad guys. But the Filmation writers insisted on adding a deeper message. They wanted to teach children that not everyone celebrates Christmas and that is okay. This was radical for 1985. Most Christmas specials assumed everyone was Christian. But this special explicitly stated that different cultures have different traditions and all of them are valid. Mattel executives hated this. They wanted a safe Christmas story, but the writers refused to back down. Fact 4. Religious groups threatened to boycott it when word got out that the special would teach religious tolerance. Conservative Christian groups threatened to boycott Mattel products. They said the special was anti-Christian, that it was promoting paganism and moral relativism. Mattel panicked. They considered pulling the special entirely. But ultimately they decided the controversy would generate publicity and publicity would sell toys, so they let it air. And the boycott never materialized because most parents actually appreciated the message. Fact 5. John Irwin voiced He-Man and he was deeply underpaid. John Irwin was the voice of He-Man and he brought genuine heroism and warmth to the character. But he was paid almost nothing for his work. Voice actors in the 1980s had no union protection for animated shows. John recorded hours of dialogue for this special and was paid a flat fee of a few $100s. No residuals. No royalties. Meanwhile, Mattel made millions from the toys his performance helped sell. He has spoken publicly about how exploited he felt. Fact 6. Melanie Britt voiced She-Ra while pregnant. Melanie Britt was the voice of She-Ra and during recording sessions for the Christmas special she was pregnant and experiencing severe morning sickness. She was exhausted and nauseous, but she pushed through because she needed the paycheck. You can hear the strain in some of her lines. She raw sounds tired in certain scenes. That was not acting. That was a pregnant woman forcing herself to work in difficult conditions because the industry offered no support or protection. Fact 7. The animation was reused from previous episodes to save money. Filmation reused animation sequences from previous He-Man and She-Ra episodes. Transformation scenes were copied and pasted. Background shots were recycled. Fight sequences were traced from earlier work. If you watch carefully, you can spot the same movements over and over. This was standard practice for Filmation, but it made the special feel cheap. The studio was cutting every possible corner to meet Mattel's impossible budget. Fact 8. Orko was given the most screen time to sell his toy. Orko, the bumbling magical character, was featured heavily in the special even though he added almost nothing to the plot. This was because Mattel had manufactured too many Orko toys and they were not selling well. The special was designed to make Orko seem more important and appealing so kids would ask their parents to buy his action figure. Every creative decision was made by marketing executives looking at sales data. Art had nothing to do with it. Fact 9. The Earth Children were added last minute. The two Earth Children who serve as the audience surrogate characters were not in the original script. Mattel executives demanded they be added because they wanted the special to feel more relatable to American children. The writers had to completely restructure the story to accommodate these new characters. It made the plot more complicated and less coherent. But Mattel did not care about story quality. They cared about market research that said kids liked seeing other kids on screen. Fact 10. Skeletor was made sympathetic to sell redemption story toys in the special. Skeletor helps save Christmas and shows a softer side. This was not a creative choice. Mattel was planning to release a line of reformed villain toys and they needed the special to set that up. The writers hated this. Skeletor was supposed to be pure evil, making him sympathetic undermined years of character development, but Mattel overruled them. The toys were already manufactured. The story had to match the product line. Fact 11. Lou Shamer directed it and voiced multiple characters to save money. Lou Shamer was the founder of Filmation and he directed the special while also voicing several minor characters. He did this to save money because hiring additional voice actors would have blown the budget. Lou was spread impossibly thin. He was directing and performing and managing a failing studio all at once. The stress was destroying his health, but he had no choice. If this special failed, Filmation would collapse completely. Fact 12. The special taught that Christmas is not universal. The most radical moment in the special is when the Eternians explain they do not celebrate Christmas because they are not from Earth. The Earth Children have to accept that their holiday is not the center of the universe. This was a profound lesson for American children in 1985 who were raised to believe Christmas was universal. The special taught cultural humility and religious tolerance in a way that was genuinely progressive, and it did this in a toy commercial. Fact 13. Prince Adam and Princess Adora were siblings and it was creepy. He-Man and She-Ra are siblings. Prince Adam and Princess Adora are twins, but Filmation's animation often made them look romantic. They held hands, they gazed into each other's eyes. It was uncomfortable. The Christmas special tried to emphasize their sibling relationship, but the damage was done. Years of ambiguous animation had created a weird subtext that creeped out parents. Mattel received letters complaining about it, but they never addressed the issue. Fact 14. The special featured a song that nobody remembers. There was an original Christmas song written specifically for the special. It was forgettable and bland. The melody was generic. The lyrics were uninspired. Nobody remembers it today. Compare that to classic Christmas specials that created songs that became standards. This special was made so quickly and cheaply that nobody had time to write good music. It was just another corner that got cut. Fact 15. Mattel executives wanted Santa Claus and the writers refused. Mattel wanted Santa Claus to appear and team up with He-Man. The executives thought it would be magical and would sell toys, but the writers absolutely refused. They argued that including Santa would undermine the message about religious tolerance, that it would make Christmas seem like the correct holiday and all others less important. They fought for weeks over this, and somehow the writers won. Santa never appears in the special. Fact 16. The special aired in different versions in different markets. The version that aired in the United States was edited differently than versions that aired internationally. Some countries cut the religious tolerance message entirely. Others changed dialogue to make it more Christian. This meant children around the world were watching fundamentally different stories. Mattel allowed this because they cared more about avoiding controversy in different markets than maintaining a consistent message. The integrity of the special was negotiable. Fact 17. It was released on VHS and became a massive seller after airing on television. The special was released on VHS and it sold extremely well. Families bought it and watched it every Christmas. It became a genuine tradition despite its commercial origins. This surprised everyone, including Mattel. They thought it would be a one-time cash grab, but it had staying power. Something about the message and the characters resonated beyond the cynical intentions behind its creation. Fact 18. Filmation closed just 4 years later in 1989. Filmation studios shut down permanently. They could not compete with higher-budget animation companies. The He-Man and She-Ra franchises moved to other studios. The people who made this special lost their jobs. Their studio was erased from history. The art they created lived on, but they were forgotten. Lou Shamer spent his final years watching his legacy be bought and sold by corporations that never credited his contributions. Fact 19. The special is now owned by DreamWorks through a series of corporate acquisitions. The rights to He-Man and She-Ra ended up with DreamWorks Animation. The original creators have no control over their work, no say in how it is used. DreamWorks has rebooted the franchises multiple times. They have released new versions of the Christmas special, but the people who made the original receive nothing. Their work generates profit for a corporation that did not exist when they created it. Fact 20. The final scene shows the children leaving and everyone pretending it mattered. At the end of the special, the Earth children are sent home. He-Man and She-Ra wave goodbye. Everyone acts like this adventure changed them forever. But then the next episode, everything returns to normal like nothing happened. That is the truth of this special. It pretended to have meaning. It pretended to teach important lessons, but it was always just a commercial. The religious tolerance message was real and valuable, but it existed inside a product designed to extract money from parents. The special asks you to believe that He-Man and She-Ra care about these children. But they do not. They are not real. They are drawings created by underpaid artists to sell plastic toys. The children are not real. The lessons are not real. The only real thing is the transaction. You watch the special, you feel something, you buy the toys, and the cycle continues. But here is the thing. Even though it was fake, even though it was manipulative, even though it was created purely for profit, it still managed to teach a generation of children that different people celebrate different things, and that is okay. It still created memories that people treasure decades later. It still mattered to the kids who watched it. And maybe that is enough. Maybe art can transcend its commercial origins. Maybe meaning can exist even inside exploitation. Or maybe we are just lying to ourselves because it is easier than admitting we were manipulated. Watch the special again, look closely at the eyes of the characters, and tell me what you see. So there you have it, 20 facts about He-Man and She-Ra, a Christmas special that reveal it to be a battlefield between corporate greed and genuine artistic intention. It was made by underpaid artists working for a failing studio. It was commissioned by a toy company that cared only about sales. It was censored and edited and fought over by executives and religious groups, but it also taught religious tolerance to millions of children. It created holiday memories that endured. It proved that even the most commercial art can contain genuine meaning if the people making it care enough to fight for it. Which of these facts shocked you the most? Tell me in the comments below. And if you grew up watching this special, I want to hear about it. Did you have the toys? Did you understand the message about tolerance? Do you still watch it today? Because sometimes the most cynical products can teach the most important lessons. Sometimes a commercial can accidentally become art. And sometimes muscular cartoon characters created to sell plastic can teach us more about acceptance and understanding than we ever expected. By the power of Grayskull and the honor of She-Ra, Merry Christmas to some of you, and Happy Holidays to everyone else.